I've absolutely been loving these hybrid style decks in Pool 2 lately. Decks which have multiple win conditions or particular decisions and flexibility in how you play them out. Today we've got another one of these hybrid decks which I think is super strong and super fun to play as well. So stay tuned. Let's go. Hey, Milky here, back again with another video for MarvelSNAP. Today, we have one of those hybrid decks that I was just talking about, and this one is an ongoing deck which does a number of different things. If we take a quick look at the deck list, you might be thinking, yeah, this is just another Spectrum ongoing deck. But this one here is a little bit special. It's got multiple win conditions, it's really flexible in the way you can play it out, and it doesn't only rely on Spectrum to win the game. This deck's a true hybrid in the way it operates, so let's get in and take a look at the cards in more detail. As always, some cards are just really strong. Ant-Man, Nightcrawler, and Angela are no exception. Ant-Man does get the benefit from the Spectrum ongoing buff, but all three of these cards just work really well in a number of decks, and in this case, it's no different. They just round out the early game really well, as well as push some power on the board and get you kind of kicked off and started into the game. Ebony Maw's a card I want to highlight in this deck. He has great synergy with Spectrum late on in the game, but he has a detrimental ongoing effect. But because you can buff locations or cards with this deck, you can actually really make use of the 7 power that he brings to the table, and he can be a really strong push early on if you're able to get him down on the board. I do want to talk about Angela just for a second. Angela in this deck is quite strong because you've got some 1-drops that you can play against her. You can kind of build out your early turns and get a lot of power on the board, but she's definitely not vital in this deck. At my current collection level and rank, I wasn't versing Enchantresses at all. So it felt a real waste to try and tech against an Enchantress in this deck. However, if you are versing lots of Enchantresses in your games that you're playing, definitely consider putting a Cosmo in the deck. Cosmo has an ongoing effect, so he's going to benefit from the Spectrum buff, but he's also going to be able to protect your location where you're dropping a lot of ongoing cards. I almost just put him in my deck anyways, and I played around with it a little bit, but I literally didn't verse an Enchantress for the longest time, so it felt like a little bit wasteful on that behalf. But Cosmo can be a really strong addition if you are looking to counter Enchantress plays and protect your ongoing abilities at a certain location. Armor's great, protects those 1-drops while also getting a benefit from the ongoing ability from Spectrum. Great card in this deck to include. Lizard's awesome. Lizard's a pseudo control card in my opinion because you're encouraging the opponent to feel like they need to play into that location to offset that 3 power or trying to fill up that location. And you can do some sneaky things with that, especially if they're playing into it early on. Lizard is really flexible at 5 power. He does have a negative ongoing effect, but there's definitely some mind games you can play with your opponent with this one. This is where the deck really starts to spice up with Sandman. Sandman has an ongoing ability, so he is going to get the buff from Spectrum, but Sandman is a card that you want to be very careful when playing. You want to make sure your final turns are very well mapped out before you play Sandman. Sandman is a great way to counter what your opponent's doing, and if you can figure out the exact type of deck and cards that you're going to be versing by turn 4, and preempt if their deck actually plays a lot of cards out on the board, Sandman can absolutely shut down opponents' decks, especially if you've got your final turns on the game already mapped out. Sandman can shut a lot of things down. Then we have Namor, and I think Namor is an absolute sleeper card. No one's really playing Namor. He's kind of hidden, he's kind of buried. You kind of play him once and maybe you don't get the full benefit of him and people put him on the shelf and never pull him back out again. But for me, Namor is an awesome card. One, he's going to benefit from the Spectrum buff, but also he has some incredible interplay with other cards in this deck a bit later on. Iron Man is your single location winner, and he's also going to benefit from a Spectrum buff as well. So he's just a really strong card to lock down a single location if that's the route you're going. This is where the deck continues to get really fun for me, and Claw's a great way to spread 10 power across 2 locations. You get 4 on the location where he's played, you get 6 on a location to the right of that. He's just a great way to kind of buff a location without having cards on there, and it works incredibly well as a combo piece with Namor. Spectrum's a great win condition in this deck, but not the only one. There's lots of ongoing cards in this deck which are going to benefit from the 2+ power on reveal effect from Spectrum, but she kind of rounds out the deck really well if you don't draw other things. But this deck has so many different ways that it can win, she's often not vital to draw in a lot of games. Lastly, we're going to round out the deck with Onslaught. Onslaught is a great finisher in this deck. He has some awesome synergy with other ongoing cards in the deck, particularly Iron Man and Claw. There's a lot of sneaky plays you can make with Onslaught, which is going to really be hard to predict for your opponent. And he's just a great way to kind of finish your turn, round out the game, and push a lot of sneaky power across potentially multiple locations. One of my absolute favorite combos in this deck is Namor, Claw, and Onslaught. They can win 2 locations almost by themselves sometimes. How you want to actually play this out is you want to put Namor to the right of the Claw location, wherever that's going to be. Decide that on turn 4 and play out Namor. Then on a location to the left of Namor, you want to play Claw, and then you want to play Onslaught. And how this actually works out in playing the game is you're going to have 11 power on the Claw location, and you can boost that up a little bit more by adding some early game cards and some flexibility in there as well, especially if you get Ant-Man on that location. Maybe you can drag a Nightcrawler across. Doubling down on the Ant-Man's power with Onslaught late on in the game is no joke. So you've got the Claw location, potentially some other cheap cards in there as well, and you've got Namor off to the side on the right. And then on the final turn, you slam Onslaught on that location. Onslaught comes down, provides a big boost to that location, but then you also get a 12 power push to the Namor location. So you end up having 11 power just from Claw and Onslaught on that single location. But over on the Namor location, because of the Namor ongoing ability, but also because of the buff from Claw, you end up getting 22 power on a location with a single card. That's even better than Infinite. I think Namor is slept on. I think this combo is awesome and definitely something for people to consider. So that's a super fast look at this awesome ongoing hybrid deck. It's a ton of fun. We're going to go ahead and jump into some games now. As always, we're playing at infinite rank and pool 3 with full collection. So the games aren't going to be easy, but I think we can get out some wins. Let's jump in now and take a look. Another game, and we go straight into Sokovia. So we're in Ant-Man. It's not great. I mean, we do lose a turn 1, but it's not the worst thing. It's not the worst thing. And we get rocks. So rocks are not what we're looking for here. Hopefully we can not draw the rocks. We have our high cost cards in hand, which definitely isn't ideal off the bat. He's playing the rocks, so maybe he is playing something like a Patriot deck or something that can take advantage of it. Like, if he's playing rocks, he's got to take advantage of it, right? So, like, it's not in my best interest to play this rock and give him a rock. I feel like you just don't play rocks, right? And he's wanting to keep the rocks. Very obviously wanting to keep the rocks, so I think that's the right call, not giving him a rock. And I've drawn 2 rocks in a row, which is incredibly rough. So you get Claw. Claw's spicy. Claw's spicy here because we can do Iron Man, we can do Onslaught. Claw's good. Claw's a great card here. Professor X, he's not gonna like this. Unlucky, buddy. Snapping. Snapping. How does he beat this? 18 power? Maybe he has his own Iron Man? Iron Man ends something? Claw gives us a bigger difference there. This only goes to 14. But we do have a card over here. This is probably better. We get 14 as well, but we get 12 in mid. This is the play. I think we'll lock this one in and see how we go. What's this? Destroyer? So we win. Hit a big push with Destroyer, but cheeky Nightcrawler. Big push in mid with Claw. Like, Onslaught Claw is 12 on a location without even playing a card there. Plus you get 11. So you get 11 here, 11 on their location with the cards, and you get 12 on another location just with 2 cards. That's pretty dang strong. It's a really good combo. And you can play around Professor X, which a lot of people are playing at the moment. Not bad, not bad. All right, really enjoying this deck. A lot of fun. Asgard. Let's go ahead and get Nightcrawler out. I'll play Nightcrawler into an unflipped location, just in case we can get a benefit over there. We'll see. Sandman and Claw in hand, not too bad. And with Onslaught now, we've got some really solid stuff we could be doing. I think I hold off on the Ebony more just in case we get another card we can play. Which we do. My question is, so this gives us 10 into Asgard. And we kind of just do this for the card draw, right? I don't mind this. We can also then Sandman. Like, we're going to get the card draw here. I don't think he's going to beat us. Well, maybe now. He's got to make up 5 power there. So Claw and Onslaught adds 12 power over here. And it adds 11 power to Hulla. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to move Nightcrawler late on. So there we go. Maybe we get the card draw here, maybe we don't. Maybe he just commits into Asgard. The options for the card draws are always nice, but we do have pretty strong plays as well. And with Mojo, his deck is probably going to have... is built around dropping lots of cards. Okay, so the Omega Red can be tough if he's got an Onslaught. He can push a lot of power, but I think we're actually in a half decent spot here. I'm gonna go ahead and drop Claw right in the middle. I'm gonna follow that up with an Onslaught at the moment. I think we'll just have to see if we can have to counter anything that he's gonna play. But with this Sandman out, we can really limit his deck a lot. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so he's committing. He's committing to Asgard, obviously with Omega Red. We're still able to move our Nightcrawler, which is nice. So Strange Academy moves a bunch of stuff over. So if we Onslaught here, and he Onslaughts, Omega Red, you got to be winning by 10, which is fine. It's going to plus 4 power here and here. At the moment, he's not winning here. There's the other play that we can make is Spectrum, but we'd probably, I guess, we'd Spectrum over here. But I just don't think it doesn't add anywhere near as much power, right? Let's go to 12. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Just got one card, Onslaught, yeah. Yeah, we get it out. So the Onslaught versus Onslaught is a great move to end up dipping out on this location. I mean, whether the Sandman landed here or here from Strange Academy didn't really matter because we were giving up on it. But yeah, Claw Onslaught beats Omega Red Onslaught in this one. Very nice, very nice. You have Atlantis right off the bat. With Namor, that feels very fitting. We've got a turn 1 snapper. Interesting. I'll go ahead and get Nightcrawler out. We can always move him around. Sometimes you get value out of dropping Nightcrawler in random spots, so I might go ahead and drop him out in the far location. Just see. We can always move him. Okay, so Grand Central doesn't change a lot for us. But if we do draw other 1-drops, we probably want to keep this open for Namor. this turn, this game, sorry. So let's go ahead and do armor in middle onto Grand Central. I get Psylocke. Okay, so they're ramping early. Very awkward turn 3. We actually don't have a play whatsoever. So that wave really doesn't help us at all. And that Electra is pretty brutal. So I was thinking Namor over in to Atlantis, but now I'm thinking maybe we try and sneak away Washington DC, so we go Onslaught, Claw, Namor, and maybe we even draw something to play in Atlantis. Let's go with Onslaught here. It's got a death straight off the bat, so that's a tough one to beat. That is definitely a tough one to beat. I think we have to still go with this Claw. Look, I kind of hope it pulls like Spectrum or something like that. We'll have to see. Let's see if we can... Okay, so he storms out the location anyway. So, the question is he going after the first location? Is he going after this location or is he going after this one? Points difference between the two. He's 8 points behind here and he's 8 points behind here. So that doesn't really give me any indication. His deck's a difficult one to read, so he's got... Seems like some sort of mid-range deck, I guess. This is a really, really strong play. It gives us 10 over here, which I think we have to make. Gives us 10 ahead in the middle. So we do win that one. We sneak it out. We had some really, really strong plays with our solid draws. We drew really well in this one, and we had a really nice combo. And I think this was the play I was going to make. And it was going to be tough for him to win that one, even with the early death. So it was a good one for us for sure. All right, so for this one, we're jumping in at Mojo World. So I'm seeing a lot of Mojo World lately. I'm not sure if I'm not sure why. And into the Superflow, so we'll take that. We'll take that. This deck ramps pretty well. We got lots of high cost cards in here, so I think we start getting some cards out into Mojo World. Don't want to play into the Superflow yet. Got to be aware, just always got to be aware of Professor X on the Superflow here. Because Professor X on the Superflow can really do some crazy things when you shut it off early. I mean, you get access to him essentially on turn 4. Potentially even earlier. So, can be quite cheeky what you can do with that. But you have the Claw Onslaught Namor combo, which is really, really nice. Okay, that's unfortunate. We lose the Angela there, but that's okay. We were kind of dipping on that lane anyways. That's a pretty sweet Gambit variant though. Pretty sweet variant. I think we go for the Claw Onslaught. We don't have a great fallback here. But I don't think they're turning off the tap for the Superflow just yet. Sarah. Sarah's going to be a huge play for them. So much they can do with Sarah. I think we do the Claw Iron Man Onslaught and we just go for it here. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure that his deck runs Enchantress. So he committed to Mojo World, which is really good for us. But he did get 3 cards, which he's going to go up +6 over in Stark Tower. Scorpion whips our hand twice here, which isn't amazing, especially with especially with Iron Man out there, but I mean, it's our only play, right? We have to just be aware that he's going to have 7 mana this turn with Sarah down's kind of nasty, but hey, I think we go after it. We'll see if we can get it. We're going to add another 6 over into Stark Tower. Is that going to be enough? 24. He only plays 2 cards, so it might not be enough. Only hit 1. Oh, he gets a double proc. And a Psylocke, so we do win. We sneak it out with the awesome combo in the middle of Claw, Iron Man, and Onslaught. Providing a huge buff to the right location. And Namor just chilling, doing his thing. Okay, that's it. We've got a bunch of wins out there. We had a ton of fun playing these games. I hope you were able to showcase how flexible this deck and the different decisions you can make along the way as you're playing out this deck. I think the deck does a bunch of different things really, really well, which is not a common thing in MarvelSNAP. Often decks are really built around one archetype and kind of honing in on doing that. But this deck does a number of different things, and I think it does them really, really well. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that good stuff as usual. And until the next one, I'll see you then.